Hi, it's Natalie. I am going to do a Valentine's theme today, seeing as it is that time of year. I'm going to do a CD sleeve, an altered CD sleeve. Now I've got three different ideas for three different ones, so we'll see how far we get. I've done some preparation already, just so it doesn't take quite so long. So I'm going to go through the basics first of what I've done so far, and then we'll go through each one and see what we can come up with. So basically I've used a basic CD sleeve. Everyone's probably seen these or got these, done various things with them. So it's just the basic sleeve with the cellophane window. So that's what I'm using, and I've coffee dyed mine, and this is what they look like when they're coffee dyed. I don't soak mine in the coffee because they start to fall apart. I normally just spray it from a little spray bottle and just spray it on quite lightly, and do both sides, and it normally comes out quite good. You can just wipe off any that goes on the window part, and yeah, they seem to work out quite nicely, and then just leave them to air dry. So that's what I've done on this one. This is the first one that I've sort of put the things that I want together, so we'll see how it goes. I've done some inking around on this one just with the vintage photo distress ink, and I've gone round the edges, and I've gone around the window as well. And again, I normally just go over the window when I'm doing the middle part, because you can just, like with the water and coffee, you can just, it doesn't stick to the cellophane part, so you can just wipe it off with a dry wipe. So that's the envelope. I have cut down the flap, the longer flap, just so it doesn't come past here, and I've just stuck it down to the inside because we're going to be putting a tag into here as a little pocket. So that's that kind of started. So the first thing then that we need to do is line it, and I've got this piece of, I'll just say actually, these digitals, these flowers are from a page from the digital, and this and some of the ones on the others, I'll tell you when I get to them, are from I think it's called the Valentine's Love digital kit, and it's from Calico Collage. And I didn't really have a lot of Valentine's related digitals because I don't very often do this sort of style. So sort of Valentine's things are something that I don't very often seem to do. But anyway, yes, but it's a lovely kit, and yeah, so these are from some of the pages. So this bit I've got that I want to put inside as just the lining, so that when the tag's not in there, it looks a bit more interesting. So that's what I'm going to have inside there. So what I normally do with these, I'm just going to get that out of the way and push all these bits out of the way for now. We'll bring them back later. I normally just put glue on this top section and then push it back in and stick it down, because this bottom part should be okay when you're as long as it goes all the way down to the bottom. Your tag shouldn't really interfere, so we should be okay. So I'm going to just go over to my gluing section and put a bit of glue on here. I'm just using Pritt Stick for this part. So I'm just gonna just put glue across the top part, and then try and push it in all the way, and then when it's pushed in, just push it down, and I'm just gonna, and also that should stick the little tab down that you have on your, on the back of these CD sleeves, because I'm going to be attaching it to the page, probably just this whole bit attached, but if I want to use it as another pocket, then I'd probably back this with something else or put some tape or something across there. But yeah, so that's that part, and that's that stuck into there. So that's the basic thing we've got. So then we need to think about what we want to see in the window, and I've made this, I've made a large tag to go in this pocket because I want to do something that's going to stick above as well. So I've got this really nice page from the digital kit, and it's got this little cherub, so I wanted him to go in here so that you just see the little cherub in the corner here. So that's great. So on this tag, basically I've used this is just printed out onto normal paper, normal copier paper, and then I've used some coffee dyed doily, and just I've glued that on roughly. And then what I've done actually is I've gone over the whole, I don't know if you can see, it's slightly got a slight sheen, but it's still matte, and it's nicely sealed in. I've gone over the whole thing with some matte medium, which is really good for sticking things down, and also it's really good for sealing the edges on things, because this doily is quite difficult to actually glue on because there's so many little bits, and because we're going to be putting it in and out of the pocket, I wanted it quite nicely sealed. And if you just go all the way over the top, all the way over everything with the matte medium, just brush it on, then it actually creates like quite a nice little seal, and when it's dry it kind of stiffens the whole thing a little bit. It's still nice and flexible, but it's got a really nice texture. I love matte medium. It's great for decoupaging stuff, napkins, all that kind of thing. So yeah, so I've gone over the whole thing with that. And then I've also sewed around the edges with a bit of zigzag and straight stitching around there. And the back is coffee dyed paper that I've coffee dyed. So that's the basic tag, and then that goes into here. And then we need to figure out what else we're gonna have on our CD sleeve. Now I've got another piece. I've just cut this off of the edge of one of the pages in the kit. This was down the edge of one of the pages, so I'm thinking that I want this to go down this side. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach that on, or actually what I might do first is I might do a little bit of just background stamping onto my CD sleeve, possibly. Right, so yeah, what I'm going to do, I think, is going to find myself, I've got just a script stamp. I think I'm going to use some of the sepia archival ink, and I'm just going to do it really roughly, and what I'm going to do is just if I can find myself a scrap piece of paper to put underneath, I'm going to just press it on really roughly, and then I'm going to just press it on. Press it on. Just creates a little bit more interest to the whole thing. Just gonna, okay, I think that'll be fine. So, and again, any ink which has gone over onto your cellophane, you can wipe off with just a dry piece of tissue or dry wipe there, and it just comes off. If you did want to print onto the cellophane, the only thing that I know that works if you want to stamp onto the cellophane is the stays on. If you use the stays on, you should get a better result at printing it onto the actual cellophane, but I want mine to be clean. So okay, so we have that now. What I'm going to do next is just ink around the edges of this piece. So I'm just going to attach that. If there's any little bits sticking up, I can go back and attach them down later. So that's that there now, and then when we put this in here, we've got this down this side, we've got our little cherub here, and then we've got our bit of doily. So I'll probably put something else in this area on the tag, but we'll just leave it like that for now. The other bits which I wanted to put on here are a few little photos. I thought maybe these could go up here somewhere. Maybe this kind of idea. And I've got a little die cut. I've got a few of these. I was having fun die cutting for something else, and I thought in some way this could possibly go along here, and this is what I was thinking of putting more down here so it appears in the window. But the only thing is that you want to make sure that your tag kind of makes sense as a tag on its own, as well as the bit that you want to show in the window. So that's about where it needs to be to show in the window. So I want to just organize the rest of the stuff here, just so that it makes a bit of, I feel like we need something. And also the other thing is where this is going to sit. So when it's inside, this is about where it's going to start sticking up above. So if I want to see all of what's up here, I need to be aware of that. I might use a bit of, I've got some gold, it's quite a bright gold, but I might put just a bit of ribbon across the whole thing, just to bring it all together. I'm just going to cut a bit of that off, and then see if we can maybe dull this down a tiny bit. I quite like it as it is, but if we could possibly get a bit of, yeah, it has actually, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it has actually slightly taken off the, what I could do is maybe put a bit of gesso across the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is work out where this is going to be again. So that was where that was going to be. I might put this all the way across at an angle. Could even overlap these bits here. Okay, so I'm gonna just leave that there as my little marker. Right, I'm going to use a bit of this glue for this. I'm just going to run a little bit of just a white craft glue, and I'm just kind of dropping it onto the top of the ribbon. I'm not pressing it hard because I don't want it to all soak through immediately. So there's my little marker. So I'm just going to lay that down and hold it for a few seconds. I'm just going to wipe. Now I've managed to get glue on there. I'm going to just use my wipe and just hold that down briefly until it starts to just stick on. What I might do actually is just dry this off quickly with the heat tool. So I'll probably just speed this up and turn the sound off while I'm doing this part. Okay, so that's glued on fairly securely now. I'm just going to cut off a bit from the ends here. Get rid of those bits in the bin. Okay, a bit more I could glue down there. I can go back and do that later. Right, the next thing that I want to work out is then exactly where I'm putting these two, and I think I'm going to put them kind of like this, I think. And then this can go again. I want to check where that's going to be. Just want to move it up a little bit. Okay, so that's going to go up there somewhere. And then this is going to go just down here. I'm just going to slightly overlap that onto there. Sorry. So that is pretty much what I'm going to go for. And I'm gonna go ahead and stick that all down, kind of like that. So I'll probably also speed up this part while I stick it all down, and then we'll carry on from there. Okay, so that's all stuck on there. Just need to let it dry. And what I think I'm going to do, like I did on that outside, I might just put a little bit of stamping on just on that area, just to create a little bit more interest. I'm just going to press it down quite lightly onto there in a few areas, just to get a little bit more interest there. Okay, so that's basically our tag to go inside. So just need to let this dry off a bit really. And going back to our envelope, I've got one more thing that I was thinking of attaching on. I made some of these a while ago, some little clusters, and it's basically some coffee dyed paper, which I have used if I just grab it, got a little quite big actually, cutter that cuts these little scalloped circles. This is the Fiskars one, I believe, and I've put a little button. I made quite a lot of these when I made them. And a little, I think this is out of a vintage dictionary. And then a little bit of coffee dyed fabric, embroidery on glazed fabric. And then I've just sewn them all together and inked around the edge. So what I thought was I might put this down in this corner. And then we've got our little tag, and then that was down in that corner. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that onto there. Right, so that looks quite nice, I think, with the little pink button. So that's that. This needs to dry properly really, but I think we can get an idea. So when you've not got anything in the pocket, we've got the music paper, and then we can put our tag into the pocket. Trying to be a bit careful because it's still a little bit wet. And then we have our little cherub, our little words there, and then that's sticking out of the top. So that's the first one. And yeah, I'd probably just stick this onto the page and just have it as a pocket. You could have it as a pocket and as a flip. You can have it so it flips out so you can see what's on the back. So you could have another writing space on this back part if you did it as a flip. So it'd be like a whole page flip really, because this is the height of a normal page. So you could actually do it on the side of a page and have it so it kind of it's like a whole flip out like that. But yeah, you could obviously do whatever you like with that. Okay, right, so that's number one. I'm going to leave that over somewhere to dry off properly, and we can bring. My next idea was with another tag, so another coffee dyed CD sleeve. I've got another tag which is coffee dyed paper on the back, and this is a page, so this is like where the flower border for the other one, which I just cut out and put on the outside. On this one I'm using the music paper and with the border, and I've cut this little cherub out who we used on the other one on the inside, and we've got him on the inside again because I rather like the cherub. So on this one, this again goes on the inside. I have cut out this, which I want to try and use. This is from a kit by, if I can remember, I think it is from a kit by Shabbydabbydoodah, but I can't remember the name of the kit. I will try, and if I remember what it is, I can look it up, and I will try and remember to put it in the description. But it's a really lovely lovely kit that has just really lovely colours, and the little birds, the colours are just so nice on it. And these have, I've coffee dyed this as well after I've printed it out, so they're quite nice and grungy. Okay, so that I would like to put on here. So we've just got this bit of the window showing, and then this bit is covered by this, and then, and again with the die cuts, I might put that onto this one down here somewhere. What I do need to do next on this one is, I think on this one I'm going to glue this to the outside, because I'm going to be gluing something over the top and it will leave the inside clean. So I'm going to do that first and put some glue down this edge. So that's that glued down there. I also want to do a bit more inking around the edges on this one, so I'm actually using a scrappy bit of makeup sponge, because actually for edges I actually quite like using. I have one of these as well, which is quite good for blending, but and I do edges with it, but I quite like the sponge. Seems to pick up, depends how heavy you want the inking to be. The sponge tends to pick up a bit more colour. Okay, so that's the next part of that. Just trying to decide whether I want to do some stamping on this one underneath, just so that it shows at the edges, which I might do actually, just as an extra little thing. So I bring in my piece of paper again, and then just do the same as before. I'm just gonna stamp. You won't really see much of this because I'm going to be covering, but it will just show at the edges in some places. And again with my dry wipe, I'm just going to wipe off any of the ink. Yeah, if you do this method, then make sure you're not using something like stays on, because I think that will literally stay on. Okay, so we've got that again now, similar to the other one, and I'm gonna, I didn't do this terribly neatly, I just roughly cut around the shape, just kind of by eye, but I don't want it to be particularly neat. So that's the bit I'm going to stick on here. I think what I'll do first is put in the backing that I want to use inside. So this is another page. This is where I cut the the little cherub from. He's on the corner of this page. So I think I'm going to use the rest of this page to put in as the lining for here. So I'm going to just get my little trimmer and trim down I should put it on a flat surface really, but I'm just, so I think I'm going to just straighten off that edge. First of all, then just going to quickly work out how wide it needs to be. So about there is good. Yeah. Okay. So that is what I'm going to have inside on this one. And then so when the tag isn't in, it's quite a nice little kind of faded background. I wanted something which would show up the outline of this bird here, so I think that works quite nicely. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing as before, and I'm going to put some glue along that edge as I did before. Just got a little bit of glue up here, which I'm just going to get rid of because I don't want to stick it closed. So there we go. Just going to again give it a good roller, or you could use, you don't, if you haven't got a roller, just use anything, card, you know, bone folder kind of thing, just to make sure it's nicely stuck down. So we've got this edge on the outside, but that's fine, we're going to cover it. So I think what I'm going to do next, this is a fairly simple one as well outside, is I'm going to glue down that onto there. One thing that I could and possibly would do on this is to just maybe give it a coat of the matte medium over these, just to give them a nice finish and just make them more sturdy, but it should be okay anyway once it's dry. So there we go, we've got our little envelope there opening, and then we've got just that little bit of inking is just sticking out underneath. It just adds a little bit more interest. And I've torn the edges on these. I just use one of these rulers just on the smallest edge, just to do these normally. So I think once it's inked, they look really nice, these edges. Right, so that is that part done. Now, yeah, the tag on this, so I've just stitched around it as before. I've given this also, I've cut out and stuck on this cherub onto, this was already on here, onto this page from the kit. I've given this, like the other one, I've given this a coat of the matte medium, just to kind of seal the edges here, just so we don't get stuck anywhere going in and out of the pocket. I'm just going to trim off my ends of thread there. You don't have to trim them off. I sometimes like to actually leave them. The good thing about the matte medium as well is it makes it nice and stiff, but it's still flexible. You can still kind of, you know, get it back into shape if it curls up or anything. So we've got, and I'm going to leave this one quite plain because I think it's got quite a lot of interest on it already. You can see the slight sheen, but it's not glossy with the matte medium. And I've got the little tab on the top of this one, even though you don't really need a tab as such, because again, it's a bigger tag and it's going to stick out above the top. So this will then, trying to be quite careful because things aren't totally dry, obviously then go in here. This is similar to the previous one, down in the corner. So that is pretty much the second one. I might just put a little silver die cut, just a little word down there. I think I'm gonna just add that there. Right, when I'm attaching these small words, I normally just try and put little blobs of glue rather than try and get a line. Just put just kind of dab it as little blobs, and then it sort of spreads out for itself, because otherwise it's quite hard to do it. I'm just going to use some tweezers just to get it on there, and I think about there will do. This glue, this is a Sizzix glue that I have. I don't normally buy this, but it came in a craft box. But what you want to do, like with a lot of these, it's quite fast drying, but you want to just with tacky glues and things, you just want to hold it for a short while, and this does dry quite quickly actually, and it's not too wet, if you see what I mean. So yeah, that should be all right now. Right, so that's number 2, and obviously you could do exactly the same. You could just back it and use it as a flip. You could just stick it down like that and have it as a pocket. You could even have it as a double pocket if you wanted to, and put another, you could have different size tags. You could have one pocket of that part and then another pocket on the inside, so you could have like a layered pocket possibly. Right, so that is that one. That is number 2. I'm going to put that up as well to dry. And then the last one involves a bit of sewing again, which I haven't done yet, but I will do. So this one's quite a simple one actually. I'm just going to move the bits out the way that I've accumulated. This one is the same coffee dyed envelope. I've chosen this, which is from the same kit, this Shabbydabbydoodah kit, which I still can't remember the name of it. Hold on a second. It is, I've just looked it up. I've just gone away and looked it up. It is Shabbydabbydooddah's Brilliant Birds kit, and it's really lovely. It's just all these lovely colours. I really like, she does quite a few kits that have really nice unusual colour combinations, and I really like them. Okay, so I have this I'm going to stick in here. This I'm going to do something different with this time, so I think I might stick this down first, because I'm going to sew something on here, and I want to get this bit done first. So exactly the same as before, I'm going to go over and get some glue on here. Right, there we go. That'll do it. Okay, give it a little roller. There's a free cat hair there. Okay, so that is our inside on this one. And for this one, I'm not making a tag to go inside as yet, because I might well, on this one, I might well seal it up across the top and just have it as this being the pocket entrance. I might just stick it on, so this is literally just a pocket, there's nothing inside, but we shall see. I'm going to leave it open for now, because then if I wanted to add a tag or something after, I could, but that was my thought. So I'm going to ink around, because then I need to do some sewing. I've got some trim that I'm thinking I am going to sew on. You could glue it on, but I'm thinking that I'm going to sew it on across the top here, because then I also think I might then sew around here. I might actually do the sewing here first. I might sew around here first and then sew my trim across the top of here and then fold it over, and I can just stick it down at the ends. Okay, right, what I'm going to do first then is I am going to ink around the sides. So that's going to be the bit that's going to show. I haven't inked around the middle part. I'll just do a little bit of that now. I want to do something maybe a bit different. I might use some of the vintage photo, or I might use some, maybe something like a gesso with a stencil rather than stamping on this one, but we'll have a little, I'll have a little think. I think I'm going to do the sewing first and then we'll see what happens. So I'm going to go away and I'm going to sew, I think just with the straight stitch all the way around there, and then I'm going to sew my trim along there onto the flap in that way. Okay, and then I will come back and we'll carry on from there. Right, I am back. I have stitched around the sides there, all three sides. So at the moment I still have an open envelope still. I haven't gone across the top of the opening. So let me I'm just going to cut off some threads here. Yeah, and my flap now is going, I've stitched my trim and I've stitched it along here. Just forgive my inky finger. I've stitched the trim along here and just going to trim it off at the end here. And then I'm going to bring that to this side, and then I'm just going to put a bit of glue down and stick it down there. So that is basically going to be the top edge of that. Right, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue along. I might put it all the way along here actually, and then just put a bit more at the sides here. And then I'm just going to hold that down again for a few seconds just to let it stick a bit. Okay, so that's that. Now I need to decide what I want to do in terms of stamping or stenciling. I think what I would like to do is, I've got a stencil here which I might just use with just trying to decide what colour I might want to use in terms of ink. Let me just see what I can find. Right, I'm just going to see if I've got any other inks, whether maybe I want to put a bit of pink, or if I just want to keep it all quite kind of dulled down. Scattered straw is quite nice. Just going to test a bit of the pink on my scrap piece of paper here and see what yeah, I think I might go for a little bit of, maybe a little bit of pink. Right, I'm going to swap these over. And this is sponge sugar. It's getting a little bit dry actually, so I'll just give it a good squish. Right, I'm just going to put this across, maybe at a slight angle actually. No, I'm just going to go for that. Right, I'm not going to do it heavily. I'm just going to kind of go across there. That's quite nice actually. Okay, I'm going to do a bit over this side, I think, as well. Okay. Again, this ink should just rub off if it goes onto the cellophane part. Here we go. I think that's quite nice. All right. Okay. Success there. Might put that away for now. Okay, so my other things that I wanted to add on here is I've got this lady who I thought might go quite nicely, but not in the envelope. I thought I might put her on top, so I thought I might have her kind of in the middle somewhere, giving her a bit of cheers. And I've also got some little words which I thought I might put down. Okay, and that is pretty much it for number 3. Pretty pleased with that one. Now it's gone. The die cuts and the frilly top. I think that's gone quite well actually. And I've still got the option to use it as a pocket. Just put something on the inside or just use it as a pocket piece. I'm going to bring in the other ones for us to look at them all together. While I'm doing that, just to say thank you very much for watching, if you are indeed still watching, and also to remind you, I did in the previous video was about a Valentine's theme freebie which I have on my Buy Me a Coffee page, and I will link that in the description below. Thank you so much for watching.